have watched part 1 of this video. If you haven't, stop, go watch part 1 and then come back to part 2. Part 1 talks about how much Chamberlain actually costs. And right now I'm going to talk about how much financial aid and how you can help pay for the cost and everything like that. So thank you for tuning in, and here we go.
You wanna do it.
Now let's move on to financial aid. So financial aid is my saving grace. Financial aid is the reason I'm in school. If you don't know what the FAFSA is, it's a free application for student aid. So basically, every year you're gonna do this. Put your information in. It's gonna ask about your income, if you have dependents, if you live with your parents, if your parents give you like most of your financial support, stuff like that. So the amount of aid you're gonna get is gonna be based on those factors. I am a single mother. I have a dependent, my son, so I am considered an independent student. But if you are somebody who depends on your parents for financial assistance, you will be considered a dependent student, and that also has a big impact on how much money you get and stuff like that. So income is really big. The FAFSA code for Chamberlain is 006385. Again, that's 006385. With financial aid, you have grants and you have loans. So grants, obviously based on your income. You get the grants based on your FAFSA. Like once you do that FAFSA, you really don't have to do anything. What you qualify for is what you qualify for. A lot of these things are also based on if you're part-time or if you're full-time, or if you're not either of those. I don't know what if you take less than 6 credit hours. So let's say that you only took like a 3 credit hour class and a 2 credit hour class within one whole semester. You wouldn't qualify as part-time. So you have to be at least part-time to get the direct loans. And that means you have to at least be taking 6 credit hours for direct loans. Part-time is 6 to 11 credit hours. Full-time is 12 and more than 12 credit hours. 12 and over credit hours. So let's get into loans. So loans, you have the subsidized and unsubsidized. Subsidized is when the U.S. Department of Education pays the interest for you. As I'm taking out loans for these sessions, obviously it's a loan, so interest is going to collect on it. But this subsidized loan, the Department of Ed pays that interest for me. With the unsubsidized loan, I will still be responsible for that interest. And if you don't know already, you don't have to pay these loans up until 6 months after you graduate. If you can get these direct loans, you have to do some kind of module and sign that you understand what the loans are, so you will be able to get more information on that. Check the description box because I will be inserting links to everything I'm talking about. Because most schools use that 16-week semester, financial institutions, scholarship funds, scholarship organizations, they base their funds off of that 16-week semester. So when your funds go into your Chamberlain student account, they get split in half, if that makes sense. And then you will have to pay based on the 8-week sessions, not based on the 16-week session. You will have to talk to an advisor about payment plans because I personally have never had to do one, but I know a lot of people who do. I will give you an example of my financial aid breakdown. So for the spring semester, I got an SEOG grant that was $500. Then I got a Pell Grant that was $3,908. And then my unsubsidized loan for total for the spring semester was $3,464, and my subsidized loan was $2,722 for the spring semester. But if you look at those values, you'll see the SEOG grant, you'll see the Pell Grant, you'll see the subsidized and unsubsidized loans, and all of those values are going to be split in half. So the SEOG grant, $250 for the January session. And then the Pell Grant, $1,549 for the January session as well. And if you look at the March, it's the exact same thing because it's literally split in half. Some people don't get financial aid, I'll just say that right now, because of how much they make, how much their parents make, or whatever. But if I had a word of advice, it's free. It's literally a free application. So even if you think that you don't qualify, if it were me, I would still do an application, because you never know. Like, you still might qualify for a loan if you want to do a loan that way. no matter what your situation is, make sure that you always do a FAFSA. That's just a word of advice from me. There's a lot of information about that out there about the FAFSA. I'm not a FAFSA expert. They have FAFSA workshops. They have all of this stuff available for you for your FAFSA, because that's how most people get through school. Do your research. Whatever your situation is, make sure that you talk to an advisor. And don't only do that when you're going into the school, but also do that on a routine basis, because sometimes stuff is going to sneak up on you. Like, for example, so let me go back to the web check payment. I kind of got used to getting refund checks, because you will get those loans, those unsubsidized, subsidized loans, or the Pell Grants. You'll get those every semester, no matter how many credits you take. So if you take less credit hours, you're going to get a bigger refund check. If you take more credit hours, you're going to have to owe. But you have to be aware of that and plan ahead. One mistake that I made was I just got used to getting the refund checks. So January comes around, February comes around, and I'm just like, hey, like, I haven't gotten my refund check yet. And she's like, you're not supposed to get a refund check. You owe like $2,000 for this semester. And I'm just like, what? But it's because I had been taking like 4 or 5 credit hours per session, but this, like the January March session, I took 8 credit hours and then 7 credit hours. $2,000 is not a lot of credit hours when you think about the fact that the credit hours are $700 per credit hour. Like, it doesn't take a lot to get to $2,000. That's 3 more credit hours. So if I was only used to taking 5 credit hours and then boom, 8 credit hours, that's, you know, $2,100 right there. After I realized that I owed that money, I had to Daddy, help me out. I'm broke. I'm poor. I need to finish school. My dad sent me some money, luckily. But there are like personal loans and stuff that you can get from other institutions, Sallie Mae, Wells Fargo, whatever your bank is. Usually they have student loans. You might need a co-signer if you're a student, and if you're in a position like me. I paid the money that I owed them. That was the web check payment that you saw. And then, like I said, unexpectedly, I got that SEOG grant. And I don't know, like, when I was doing me and the advisor were doing the initial calculations for that January semester or that spring semester, the SEOG grant wasn't a factor, so that's $500 more for the semester. So some of that got taken away. So it says that I owe, but I actually don't owe, because from January they owed me $600. And then they say that for March that I owed them $200. So really, like, they owe me $400. But I'm probably just going to roll it over to the next semester, because you can do that. Like, you don't always have to get a refund check. You can roll it over to the next semester. And honestly, that's what I should have been doing. Next, I'm going to talk about scholarships. On the Chamberlain website, again, check the description box. There are internal scholarships, and it says to contact your student advisor. So make sure that you do that, because the funds are different for different locations. They're going to be the ones who tell you how to apply. Make sure that you have people who can write referrals for you, and make sure that your GPA, well, I mean, it depends on the scholarship. Some of them might not have GPA requirements, but most of them do. And if your GPA is high, then that makes you more likely to get most scholarships. And also, there's scholarships for everything. Everything there's scholarships for. And there's also a lot of information out there about that. I have very bad luck with scholarships. I really don't know what's wrong with me, but it's like every time I go to apply for a scholarship, they're like, oh, the deadline was yesterday. Really don't know what that's about. So yeah, anyways, on the Chamberlain website, there's internal scholarships. There's also links to external scholarships. Make sure you check those out. I will be inserting the links. And they also have scholarships related to working opportunities. And I think this is interesting. Basically, what I mean by that is that, like, a lot of these companies out here, they say, oh, we're going to give you this much money for, like, we're going to give you this scholarship money, but after you graduate, you are required to work for us for 2 years or something like that. Like, I know the VA loan is one. The Nurse Corps also has a scholarship like that, where they require you to work for certain facilities. And if you work for those facilities for 2 years, you know, like, you're required to work for those facilities for 2 years, at least 2 years after you graduate. Chamberlain is military friendly. So if you're in the military, or if your spouse, parent, whatever is in the military, they do those Chapter 1606, Chapter 33, whatever you qualify under, they have the VA benefits. They do the whole VA thing. They do that. So I am not going to speak specifics on that. Apply for scholarships. Make sure you're on top of your financial aid, the FAFSA. As soon as you see, oh, the FAFSA for 2021, 2022 is out, get on it. 2020 to 2021 is already out, so go ahead and do that if you haven't already. If you guys know good scholarships out there or anything like that, make sure that you tell us in the comments below. If you have any tips about how you save money, how you manage money in nursing school, go ahead and drop that below. Make sure that you check the description box and make sure that you check out my other videos. I have a lot of information for you guys. And thank you so much for watching. As usual, I hope you guys stay happy, healthy, and safe out here. Bye!